Welcome back. It's Domain Dave from CheapWineFinder.com with the second podcast for something we wrote up on the CheapWineFinder.com website for 2024. We're back to being cheap, which is what the Cheap Wine Finder is supposed to do. And we have a $6.89 wine from Costco. 89 cents usually denotes there's a bargain, but this was $6.99 last year, so 10 cents is the bargain. This is the Kirkland Signature Bordeaux Supérieur 2021. It's, like I said, it's a less than $7 Bordeaux wine. It's 60% Cabernet Sauvignon, 40% Merlot. Bordeaux Supérieur is a step up from regular Bordeaux. It means the grapes can come from anywhere, though this, I believe, came from the estate, if I'm not mistaken. It has U.S. labeling on it, not French labeling, so it doesn't tell you everything the French bottle does. And there are stricter rules and regulations for a Bordeaux Supérieur wine than there is for just a Bordeaux. But the ones from Medoc and they even have higher rules too, right? But this is just the everyday wine. Like 50% of all the wines from Bordeaux are under $20. You know, France has the wine culture, still does. It's probably fading, but where people will have a glass of wine with dinner and lunch and everyday wine. They actually don't drink wine at night, and they don't drink wine for pleasure all the time, but they do have it with meals, which is something the United States doesn't necessarily do a lot. People, you know, it is done, but it isn't all the time. And this is a wine, everyday wine, and everyday wine means it's something you're supposed to eat with lunch and dinner. It's $6.89. You can actually pull it off. This couple of glasses at lunch, put the cork back in, couple of glasses at dinner, you just had yourself a good meal and a good bottle of wine, which we're going to take a sip, and we're going to take it from there. Chateau Freeland wines, when they're not being sold by Costco, sell from between $12 and $16. This isn't a high-end, fancy wine. It's an everyday wine, like I just said. This is something that people can afford to have with their meal, which is perfect in France. And those wines, people like their wines in France. I mean, having an affordable wine there isn't looked down upon. Here, you're paying $6.89 for Bordeaux. That's horrible. No, it's good. And one thing that's good about that is if, say, you get a burrito or some burgers or tacos, pizza, anything savory, meaty, this is going to make that meal that much better. The glass of wine, it's just going to go with it really well. It's the reason why in France they do that. Things they have stews, they have different meals that this works fine for. And just a glass of wine with the dark fruit flavors here. This has got the blackberry, the blueberry. It's got some licorice. It's got some herbs, some plums. It's all very balanced. It's all very French, and it's all very made to be. It's literally made to be made with drank with the meal, even though it is meant to be sold by Costco in the United States. That's how they do it in France. I mean, that's just what they do. To expect them to be a California wine is kind of beside the point. If you want a California wine, get it from California. They're made to be sipped. Sometimes you can have with everything else with a meal too, but usually it's sipping first. And in France, it's typically with the meal, and then if it sips well, that's even better. But they don't sip their wine. I mean, they're not probably going to have another glass of wine at night while they're watching the French version of Netflix. As this wine opens up, it does sip better, but it's not the fruit bomb. I should say fruit bomb. So it's not the fruity, complex things. It's got French oak, which is more subtle. California wine often has a lot of American oak, which is the crowd-pleasing flavors in American oak, which is chocolatey and vanilla, and you get butterscotch and that type of thing, which in France are like, oh no, we can't do that. And you get more spices and stuff from a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of vanilla from French oak, but it's all very more subtle. And, it's like, I'm okay with subtle sometimes. So there we go. So this is a extremely inexpensive wine, though. It probably should be sold between 11 and 16 if it was in a wine shop. And it's not. It's in a big box store at Costco. And it's really inexpensive, and it's not bad. It's a wine that's coming out every year. And if you just decide to make sure that when you go out and bring back a bag of McDonald's cheeseburgers that you pop the top on this, and you'll actually have a fairly good time. This would do just fine with that. Take another sip and we'll wrap this up. Sometimes I like to go to France, drink bottle wine-wise. After I've been doing a lot of maybe California wines, Southern Hemisphere wines, because they have a different kind of focus than France does. And France kind of pulls things back, balances out a little bit, which is kind of nice. It's just a change of pace. And then when you get back to going to, or cheap wine finder, if you're looking for value price wines, California, Washington is the place to be. It didn't used to be that way 10, 15 years ago. It definitely wasn't, but today it is. So if you kind of reset your palate a little bit with these French wines, and they're every bit as worthwhile to drink. So there you go. If you want to change your pace, you want something inexpensive to have with an every Tuesday night whatever meal, this is it. So adios. That's it for me, Domain Dave, Cheap Wine Finder. If you're looking for us on the internet, type in whatever wine you're looking for, type in podcast, and we'll come up. Otherwise, we're behind every single wine shop in the world. So there, where am I again? This is Domain Dave. Keep it cheap. Like us, we like your podcast, and I will be talking to everybody another day. I think I've got I was in Costco, so I got a French Malbec we'll be talking about. So adios and goodbye.